Shedeur Sanders might be the Cleveland Browns' best-kept secret, and keeping him benched might be the biggest mistake they've made all season. Let's not dance around it. The Browns are spiraling. The offense is an absolute mess. The quarterback play is abysmal, and the one guy who could actually change things? He's standing on the sidelines holding a clipboard. Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with an elite college resume, strong preseason flashes, and leadership skills far beyond his age, has become the symbol of a franchise that refuses to get out of its own way.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
And after a humiliating 34-10 loss to the Detroit Lions, the pressure has finally boiled over. Joe Flacco, who continues to get the starting nod for reasons that defy logic, played like a man stuck in the past. 2 ugly interceptions. 0 mobility. No rhythm with the offense. And it wasn't just a bad day. It was the latest chapter in a series of decisions that make absolutely no sense when you've got this much young talent wasting away on the bench. Shedeur isn't just another rookie with potential. He was one of the most accurate passers in college football. Over 74% completion rate, 37 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. The guy processes the game like a veteran and carries himself like a franchise quarterback already. But the Browns? They're sticking with a declining vet and praying for miracles. Make it make sense. The defense has been dragging this team forward all season, and even they looked gassed by the end of this Lions game. You can only do so much when your offense keeps going 3-and-out or coughing up the ball. At a certain point, the coaching staff has to be held accountable. And that moment? It's now. Kevin Stefanski's conservative approach to quarterback development is getting shredded from every angle: media, fans, insiders, and reportedly even ownership. When everyone's saying the same thing, it's probably time to start listening. What's wild is that this isn't just about performance, it's about philosophy. The Browns are stuck in this outdated mindset where veteran presence is seen as safer, more reliable. But what exactly is safe about Flacco tossing picks and averaging fewer points per game than some college offenses? The game has evolved. You don't wait 5 years to develop a quarterback anymore. You throw him in, let him learn, and build the team around his growth. The fans aren't stupid. They see the numbers. They remember the preseason. They know Shedeur Sanders is the future, and they're tired of watching the present sabotage itself. Every week he sits, the outrage grows louder. And with ownership reportedly fuming behind closed doors, Stefanski is running out of time to correct course. It's not just about losing games. It's about losing the locker room, the fan base, and maybe even a potential franchise savior. If the Browns want any shot at salvaging this season, or their reputation, they need to stop playing scared and start playing smart. That means benching Flacco. And finally letting Shedeur Sanders take the field. This game laid it all bare. A franchise that built its hopes around a young, promising future decided, against all logic and momentum, to hand the reins to a fading veteran quarterback. And the result? A nationally televised embarrassment that has left fans, insiders, and even ownership questioning everything. The story here starts and ends with 2 names, Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders. One of them played. The other one should have. Let's start with the choice that's dragging this entire franchise into chaos. Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Browns, continues to dig in on his decision to ride with Flacco, a quarterback who, at this point, is the very definition of diminishing returns. 2 touchdowns. 4 interceptions. A 61.1% completion rate. That's not veteran savvy, that's statistical flatlining. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the highly touted rookie with the pedigree, the college stats, the leadership skills, and a preseason that proved he could handle the speed of the NFL, continues to sit on the bench. His college resume? 74.1% completion rate, 37 touchdowns, just 10 picks. That's elite-level production at the college level, and it didn't just evaporate in the offseason. But the Browns are acting like it did. This game against the Lions? It wasn't just a blowout. It was a warning shot. It exposed a coaching philosophy that is so risk-averse, it's become detrimental. The Browns' defense, one of the strongest units in the league, was practically begging for an offense that could just hold its own. Instead, they got turnovers, stalled drives, and a complete lack of creativity. And it all stems from a fundamental failure to evolve. Kevin Stefanski's approach is textbook conservative. He sticks to the plan, avoids disruption, and chooses safe over smart. But in today's NFL, that strategy doesn't work. You don't win games by protecting your young talent from growth. You win by throwing them into the fire and letting them develop under pressure. You win by adapting, not freezing. Every major media outlet has picked up on it. Every sports talk show is dragging Stefanski's name through the mud. Every fan forum is lit up with demands to play Sanders. You've got former NFL players calling it malpractice. Analysts calling it a ticking time bomb. The outrage isn't performative, it's earned. And internally? It's not much better. Reports are coming out that ownership is furious. Frustration is building within the front office. Executives are questioning the quarterback strategy. Players are reportedly fed up with watching their effort wasted every week. The locker room tension isn't speculative, it's real. This isn't just about one game. This is a pattern. A failure of vision. A systemic refusal to adapt to what's right in front of them. And let's be honest, the stakes couldn't be higher. The Browns have been wandering the quarterback desert for decades. Every time they get a sliver of promise, they fumble it. Whether it's bad development, poor evaluation, or flat-out bad luck, the result is always the same: wasted potential. Now they have Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with everything you want in a franchise quarterback. High football IQ. Elite college production. Proven leadership. He looked sharp in preseason snaps, showed composure, and gave fans a glimpse of something they haven't seen in years: hope. And what do the Browns do with that? They park him. They roll with Flacco. They take a 34-10 loss on the chin while their quarterback of the future gets 0 meaningful reps. This isn't just a bad coaching decision, it's an organizational crisis. And the excuses don't hold up. He's not ready. Really? Because his stats suggest otherwise. We need to protect his development. By not letting him play? That logic is backwards. We're playing it safe. At what cost? Games are being lost. Confidence is eroding. And the more they delay, the worse it gets. Let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about Flacco and Sanders. This is about how the Browns operate as a whole. Their leadership strategy is outdated. Their risk tolerance is non-existent. Their quarterback pipeline is broken. And worst of all, they don't seem to understand that the NFL has changed. You can't afford to wait and see with your young stars. You have to develop them on the field. You have to give them real game pressure. Let them make mistakes. Let them grow. That's how the Josh Allens and C.J. Strouds and Anthony Richardsons of the world became what they are. They played. The Browns are so afraid of another failure that they're creating one in real time. And now the consequences are catching up. Fans are outraged. The media is relentless. And ownership, notoriously impatient, is reportedly reaching a boiling point. If this trend continues, a shakeup isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Whether that means benching Flacco, firing Stefanski, or gutting the front office, one thing is certain: the Browns cannot stay the course. Because what's the cost of continuing down this road? You risk alienating your fan base, a group that's already been pushed to the edge year after year. You risk losing the locker room. You risk poisoning the environment around a young quarterback before he even gets a real shot. Worst of all, you risk missing your window entirely. Shedeur Sanders is the kind of talent that resets a franchise. If you trust him, if you build around him, if you give him the reps he needs to grow. But the Browns are so focused on short-term damage control that they're willing to sabotage the very thing they should be protecting. And you can't coach scared and win games. You can't silence the pressure by ignoring it. You can't hide behind veteran experience when the results are this bad. So where do the Browns go from here? If they want to salvage this season, and honestly, the reputation of this regime, it starts with a decision. Not a vague, we'll evaluate everything kind of decision. A real one. Play Shedeur Sanders. Take the risk. Let the kid lead. Because at this point, The worst decision isn't starting a rookie. The worst decision is doing nothing. The NFL rewards teams that take bold steps. Teams that trust their talent. Teams that adapt. And right now, Cleveland is on the wrong side of that equation. Every minute Sanders spends on the sideline is a missed opportunity. Every loss under Flacco's watch is a reminder of what's being wasted. And every week that passes without change brings the Browns closer to another reset. Fans are done waiting. Ownership is done waiting. The entire football world is watching this train wreck unfold, and unless something shifts, it's only going to get worse. So Cleveland, it's time to make a move. Start your future, or get left in the past. If you've had it with the Browns quarterback circus, sound off in the comments. Would you start Shedeur now or keep riding with Flacco? And if you want more breakdowns of football disasters, locker room chaos, and front office flops, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be here every week, watching the madness unfold. The Browns aren't just mishandling a quarterback situation. They're botching a generational opportunity. This isn't just poor judgment. This is the exact kind of decision that defines careers, dismantles coaching staffs, and stains front offices with the kind of regret that never really fades. And for Kevin Stefanski, this should be the final straw. We've seen this movie before. Veteran quarterback underperforms. Rookie with massive upside is benched in the name of timing, or protection, or some other vague excuse. The veteran continues to stumble. The losses pile up. The locker room fractures. The fans rage. And by the time the organization course corrects, it's too late. Damage done. Window closed. Rookie confidence shaken. Staff fired. And the cycle begins again. Sound familiar? It's the Browns' greatest hits, on repeat. Only this time, the stakes are even higher. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just some unpolished project. He's a player who came into the league ready. Not perfect, not invincible, but prepared. Hungry. And right now, he's being treated like a developmental afterthought. And for what? To ride out a few more weeks with Joe Flacco, a quarterback whose best throws are behind him and whose worst throws, unfortunately, are still showing up on Sundays. Let's talk about what that does to a team. When your defense is showing up every week, putting bodies on the line, keeping you in games as long as they can, and then watching it all get undone by an offense that can't sustain a drive, frustration turns into resentment. And when that resentment is directed at the guy under center and the coach who put him there, that's not a rough patch. That's erosion. And if you think the players aren't noticing who's sitting on the bench, you're kidding yourself. They see Sanders at practice. They see the talent. They know what's being left on the table. And the longer that opportunity is ignored, the harder it is to justify. That's when leadership starts to lose credibility. That's when guys stop buying into the message. And in a league where the margin for error is razor thin, that's when seasons spiral. And let's be honest, Stefanski's message isn't resonating anymore. There's no vision, no urgency, no adaptability, just an increasingly desperate attempt to justify a decision that isn't working. And the more the media presses, the more the fan base turns, the more ownership fumes behind closed doors, the more exposed he becomes. Because you can't talk about player development while simultaneously benching your most important player. You can't talk about long-term success while mortgaging the future on a quarterback who's already expired. And you can't expect fans to sit quietly while you let another season collapse under the weight of your own indecision. What makes this entire saga even worse is that it was so avoidable. The signs were there. The preseason tape was promising. The energy around Shedeur was electric. The fit? Obvious. But instead of leaning into that momentum, the Browns slammed on the brakes. Out of fear, out of habit, out of some warped sense of loyalty to an outdated idea of veteran stability. But what has that stability bought them? A 34-10 beatdown. A quarterback who can't move the chains. And a stadium full of fans who are running out of reasons to care. And this isn't just a fan reaction. This is media-wide outrage. Analysts, insiders, and former players are all echoing the same sentiment. What is Cleveland doing? The numbers are damning. Sanders outperformed Flacco at every level of play. College, Pre-season, even in limited team drills. His ceiling is visibly higher. His floor is already on par with Flacco's current production. The decision to keep him on the bench is indefensible from a football standpoint, a business standpoint, or a leadership standpoint. And if you zoom out, this isn't just a Browns problem. It's a cautionary tale. Because while other teams are building around youth, leaning into upside, and giving their quarterbacks reps now, the Browns are freezing, waiting, hoping the old way still works. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. You don't develop quarterbacks by hiding them. You don't win games by recycling the past. And you don't inspire a locker room by making safe choices that keep getting you beat. You want to talk about next man up culture? Then live it. Let Shedeur be that next man. Let him lead. Let him grow, publicly, imperfectly, authentically. Because that's what this team needs. And no, it won't be perfect. There will be mistakes. Rookie mistakes. That's normal. But every one of those reps is a deposit into the future of the franchise. Every snap is a chance to build chemistry. Every drive is an opportunity to establish identity. You think fans wouldn't rally around a young QB figuring it out on the fly? They would. They want to. Because even losing with a rookie trying his best feels better than losing with a veteran just going through the motions. And make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a guy fans want to see. He's the guy they're demanding to see. Because the Browns aren't just bad. They're frustrating. They're regressive. They're stuck. And that's why this story matters so much. Because it's not just about one game. It's about a franchise that continues to sabotage itself with decisions rooted in fear and habit instead of vision and growth. And it has to stop. If Stefanski doesn't make the change, ownership needs to. Because at this point, it's not just a quarterback controversy, it's a credibility crisis. The longer this drags out, the more toxic it becomes. For the fans, for the team, and most importantly, for Sanders. Because when you treat a future star like a backup placeholder, don't be surprised if he starts to see your franchise the same way. And that's the real danger here. It's not just about losing games this season. It's about losing the player, damaging his trust, eroding his belief in the team that drafted him. And once that trust is gone, good luck getting it back. The NFL doesn't wait for anyone. If you don't invest in your future, someone else will. If you don't give your stars a reason to stay, they'll find someone who will. And if the Browns continue on this path, they're going to lose more than games. They're going to lose their shot at something real. So here we are. The Browns are spiraling. The fans are furious. The future is stuck in limbo. And the one person with the power to fix it, Kevin Stefanski, is acting like he doesn't see the iceberg. You either adapt or get replaced. Period. This is the NFL. Not a nostalgia tour. So to the Browns front office, if you truly believe in the future of this team, it's time to show it. Enough with the excuses. Enough with the fear. Enough with watching winnable games evaporate behind Flacco's exhausted arm and Stefanski's broken logic. Start Shedeur Sanders. Not tomorrow. Not when he's ready. Start him now. Let the kid play. Let the team rally. Let the fans believe in something again. Because if you don't, if you keep dragging this out, game after game, hoping the noise dies down, just know this. It won't. Not when your defense is wasting their best years. Not when your fan base is watching rookie QBs thrive everywhere else. And definitely not when your rookie quarterback is sitting there, helmet on, waiting for a moment that should already be his. This isn't just about one player. It's about a franchise finally deciding to get out of its own way. So the question is, Cleveland, are you finally ready to stop repeating history? Or are you going to let this be yet another chapter in the book of what could have been? The Cleveland Browns aren't just facing a quarterback controversy, they're staring down the barrel of a full-scale identity crisis. Because when your most exciting player, the one with the upside, the raw skill, the leadership, and the numbers, is being reduced to a sideline observer, that's not strategy. That's cowardice dressed up as caution. And it's dragging the entire team into the mud. Let's talk real consequences. Every week Shedeur Sanders doesn't start, the Browns are reinforcing a culture of stagnation. They're sending a message, not just to fans, but to the locker room, that they'd rather play it safe and lose than take a chance and build, that they'd rather put their faith in a quarterback whose best football is a decade behind him than trust the quarterback they drafted to be the future. That's not leadership. That's dysfunction. And it's seeping into every part of the organization. The locker room can feel it. The body language on the field tells you everything. Players giving their all on defense only to watch the offense turn the ball over again? That wears thin. And it's not long before frustration turns into finger-pointing, not just at Flacco, but at Stefanski and everyone enabling this slow-motion implosion. You think this team is going to rally behind a coach who refuses to evolve? You think young players are going to grow under a system that prioritizes familiarity over merit? You think fans are going to stick around to watch yet another potential franchise quarterback get wasted? Because they've seen this movie before, and they know how it ends. It ends with disappointment. It ends with another press conference full of vague promises and zero accountability. It ends with another quarterback heading out the door, wondering what could have been if someone had just believed in him earlier. And maybe Stefanski still believes he's protecting Sanders. Maybe he thinks keeping him on the bench buys him time. But here's the truth, it's not buying anything. It's costing everything. It's costing credibility. It's costing development. It's costing games. And worst of all, it's costing trust. Because every snap Flacco takes isn't just another failed drive. It's another moment lost in Sanders' development arc. And when you've got a young quarterback with this much potential, every moment matters. Other teams are letting their rookies grow through experience. Cleveland is letting theirs grow cold. And the league notices. This isn't just some local meltdown anymore. This is national. The Browns are being talked about for all the wrong reasons. And they've got a choice. Keep letting fear dictate their future, or finally take the wheel and make a change. Start Sanders. Not for the fans. Not for the media. Not even for the ownership breathing down your neck. Start him because it's the right thing to do. And if you're still holding on to the Flacco era, good luck. Because when this season's over and you're left wondering where it all went wrong, just look at the bench. The answer's been sitting there the whole time.